So Nelli, Hegi Design, to me, seems to sit at the confluence between furniture design, art and sculpture.
Yes.
How do you define your work?
I would describe our work as contemporary with a neotenic twist, focusing on playful energy and timeless elements.
And why did you choose to base yourself here in this beautiful part of coastal New South Wales?
Very good question. I think 4 years ago, we fell in love with the community and the belonging. You know, grown up in a very small village where there haven't been cars, no TVs.
Wow.
And there was like a huge sense of belonging. You wanted to, you know, carry that history, and furniture was quite expensive. So if you buy pretty well, right? And then your grandma will basically hand down her furniture from generation to generation, and you have that memory of each individual piece.
So it is your background and your heritage that is directly impacting the work that you're producing.
Yes.
So not only are the pieces bespoke, but they're also like heirloom pieces.
I agree,
that
yes.
will be handed down through the generations.
I agree, yeah.
I think your work is very, very unique, and when I look at Hegi Design pieces, I see references to 1960s design, 1970s design, even in the fabrics and the textiles that you use. What is the inspiration behind the pieces?
Every collection obviously is inspired, you know, by a different element or by different shapes. But in particularly, like if we talk about the Urania collection, which was inspired by the classical DS600 sofa, we wanted to like re-imagine that again, like a new and fresh style. And I felt like that was obviously a collaboration with Pietro Franceschini, where we had like the crazy shapes, and I felt like we need to do something new, something what people would not expect. I feel like we definitely took it to a different dimension.
Nelli, you and Yuri both grew up in Europe. I grew up in Europe.
Yeah.
And here we are in Australia. There is a very unique quality to the light we have here in this country and to our landscape.
Yeah.
How in your mind have those two very, very different cultures, the Australian culture, the European culture, fused themselves together for you? I mean, what inspiration do you draw from Australia?
For me personally, I get inspired by the calm. When I go to the beach and I have the time to, you know, settle in and just like really think of what I want to design, and not being too much focused on everything, on the hectic and stress, and you know what I mean? So that's what I love, and I feel like that's when the ideas are coming, and that's when I get inspired to do something new, something outrageous, something what wasn't seen before.
I mean, we've talked about materials and the materials palette, but what about colour? I mean, I see that you use that very beautiful yellow, the yellow velvet. It's like an ochre colour. Do you have favourite colours? Do you have signature colours? How do you and Yuri work together with colour?
We love to take a design to next level. What people would question, what people would think like, oh, that's odd. Why would you do that? But I feel like isn't that design all about design? That
Absolutely.
People start questioning and starting, how that's odd, why? Like these intriguing questions, we get them a lot. And I feel like that just makes a design great and amazing when you start the question.
So, Nelli, what is the starting point for you and Yuri when you receive a commission or you're starting to create a piece?
Well, it always starts with crazy drawings all over the place, basically everything what goes through my head. And if it's a commission piece, if a customer comes to us and says, hey, I have that idea, we always draw it up and put our thoughts together. It's the same with collaboration pieces. We always brainstorm, put it on pen and paper. And it starts with crazy designs, and we refine and refine until we're like, okay, this is the shape I love, this is what I am drawn to. And again, it's a personal decision we make, right? It has a function. It obviously needs a functionality behind it, and that's when it goes to the next part, basically to Yuri, and then he just needs to approve and say, is it going to work in terms of the structure, in terms of the engineering part.
So it is that perfect marriage of form and function.
100%. I'm very grateful that I can work with my husband and that he has that attention to detail with fine furniture especially. But in saying that, a design is never perfect, right? So we develop it over and over and over, and sometimes it takes 6 to 8 takes until we say, okay, this is how we want to do it. It's a long process, and I think it's a journey we want to be part of because it's quite a unique one.